And a happy welcome to Reds in the Hood, the United podcast for legacy fans, especially those born in Old Trafford like me. Don't forget to smash like, do subscribe. Going to get quite lively. Obviously United pre-season looking very good at the moment without Cristiano Ronaldo and yet to sign our big star player, which is Frankie de Jong. Is he going to come to us eventually? Joining me today, he's only 20, I'm 62, is James. So I've actually got 42 years more knowledge about United than him.
Not of recent time.
But we are going to be just discussing this fact that even if we don't sign anyone else now, we're signing Eriksen, Malacia and Martinez, is that enough for us to finish top four?
To be honest, I think, it probably is still enough. I do feel like Spurs, though, are probably the more likely at the moment because the thing is with Conte as well, like when Conte gets like his sort of transfers in, and he's got the important thing for me was to get the two wing backs in, and now he's got his two wing backs. He's got improved the midfield and the attack, getting Richarlison. I feel like they're probably most likely for third, but I think we could nick the fourth spot. I think we're stronger than Chelsea, even though they signed I don't rate Sterling anyway, but I feel like we're stronger than Chelsea, so I think we've got a chance, especially now. You know, what I mean, Martial, Rashford, Sancho, the firing in pre-season, so it looks good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Martial. A lot of United fans were kind of dismissing him. Mine kind of, when you look at even just some of the special things he can do, I always want players like that to stay because they will go through bad times. There's inconsistency with loads of players. But Martial, when he's feeling the love, I just think he's fantastic.
Yeah, he is. Especially his little link-up play. It looks brilliant. Like even in pre-season, he's a proper Ten Hag player. You can tell already. Just kind of his little link-up plays with Sancho, like them two have got a really good connection. And obviously, you had the connection from Martial and Rashford anyway, from a couple of seasons ago under Ollie, which was very good. Like when they kept assisting each other, and they got 25 goals each, I think.
Yeah,
that season.
He got 23, and I think 55 between them, something mad like
that.
Yeah,
they both got the same. And then obviously, do you know what I mean? It was Mason Greenwood on the right, but like the dream was always to get Sancho in. But now Martial and Sancho have kind of got that connection on the right. Then you've got the connection to come back with Rashford on the left. You almost want Martial in the middle. Because I was thinking as well, like if we did keep Ronaldo, maybe Martial to the left because Rashford's kind of been a bit off form. But I feel like Martial in the middle will work a bit better for the whole team, maybe. And he looks like he's working hard as well, to be fair, in pre-season. Like he's pressing a lot as well, so which is good.
Yeah, I mean, my worry always with Rashford and Martial was for strikers, they don't get in the box enough.
Yeah, that's what Ollie kind of alluded to, wasn't it, with Martial, where it was like, I want you to, stick your head in where it hurts and almost like get like the scruffy goals, which he started to do a little bit, but obviously it kind of fell off when I don't know, he kind of hit a rough patch and then we kind of gave up on him a little bit when Cavani came in. I just don't think he likes the kind of competition. And obviously Cavani is that typical number 9, but I feel like he can get back to that, and I feel like Ten Hag wants more of a dynamic number 9 like Martial as well. So yeah,
because he can play and hold the ball up quite well. I mean, he did it against City, didn't he, a couple of seasons ago? He just looked really good. He was holding the ball up, but again, it's that thing he likes to play around the edge of the box rather than in the box and get in the box waiting to receive the ball.
Yeah, no, I feel like his little link-up play is probably it is probably one of the more impressive, like in the whole squad. Maybe like I feel like obviously you're not dismissing Ronaldo. Like Ronaldo obviously has great link-up play. I mean, you don't really lose like your first touch as you get older, but I feel like with Martial, it's more like, because he doesn't almost use his body to hold it up. He almost because he's very agile and he's a very good dribbler, he almost kind of dribbles himself out of the situation and then can just sort of lay off a very good pass. And he's got a great first touch on that. I think it was either the second or third goal. Whose goal was it? It was Rashford's goal in pre-season, but the way he just took it down on his right foot and then laid it off to Sancho. And then obviously Van der Beek ended up getting the assist, but that was just a great first touch. I mean, just coming over his head as well, and it kind of, he kind of pulled it away to the right hand side. It was just genius. But if we can get him up to sort of the top level, because I mean, he seems like Ten Hag does like him. So if he can get back to the top level, I think we've got a very good player on our hands.
Now, we talked about Van der Beek. We'll talk about him again in a minute.
Yeah.
Malacia, I thought was really good.
Yeah. No.
Does Luke Shaw lose his place to Malacia?
I've never really been a huge fan of Luke Shaw. I feel like there was one season where he probably was the best. He probably was the best fullback in the world, to be fair. Like sort of around the Euros time, that last 6 months, he hit a great run of form. But the thing is, what's it been with us now? What, 2014? So that's like...
He had that very bad leg break. He was looking well and linking up well with Memphis, wasn't he, at one point?
Yeah.
And then he, breaking his leg. I thought that spoiled a lot of Van Gaal's plans, actually.
Yeah, I do agree, but I feel like that Luke Shaw is a different kind of player. Maybe if it's affected him mentally, like he does seem very apprehensive to kind of sort of carry the ball. Maybe it is a part of that because he broke his leg, obviously, like kind of, getting into the some more tighter situations, like carrying the ball. But I feel like both him and Memphis have had the kind of same career path. It's just kind of been a bit up and down on it, like been a bit, it's not been great. I mean, 8 years, he's had 1.5 good seasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel like Malacia looks like a player. And there's that clip of Ten Hag, obviously, as well, at Ajax, where he sees him playing for Feyenoord, and he's like, "Oh, that's a good player, that kid." So he obviously likes him, which is good.
So imagine the nightmare scenario. We don't buy anyone else. We've got our 3 signings now for the season. What would your starting 11 be to make sure we finish in that top 4 slot?
Well, we'll go through like position to position, so because I think there's a lot to talk about with it anyway. But not a lot with the goalkeeper though. I mean, it has to be De Gea. Like Henderson's gone to Nottingham Forest, so we're not going to play Tom Heaton. But the fullbacks though, I think I would go with Malacia over Luke Shaw for them reasons. Just kind of embed him into the squad. I feel like he's the kind of future now. Malacia, he looks good going forward as well. But what do you think of Dalot though on the right hand side so far?
Again, it's a strange one with Dalot because I've never really warmed to him. I've just
Mourinho though, it's because that's like...
I've got a mental block about anything to do with Mourinho. I just don't think... I think he was just dreadful when it came to spending money. Dalot, if other people want him, he just defensively, he doesn't seem to be there. And then even attack-wise, he's not what he... I mean, hopefully Ten Hag can lick him into shape because obviously he's highly rated. Yeah. There's a player in there.
Yeah, I think with Dalot, I know defensively he's not great, but Wan-Bissaka recently, like even defensively, he's never been good going forward, but he's always had that kind of great tackle in him. Like the moments where we're like,
getting a block in,
he like pocketed Mbappe, like Sterling, he did well on that. It's like one-on-one situations, he's very good, but he almost lost it. He lost his way a bit. It was almost like when them crosses just kept coming in, there's just always a man free. He'd just fall asleep a little bit. But I feel like Dalot, when he came back in, was doing quite a good job of his positioning was a lot better. And I feel like now it's more important for him to actually just get forwards because it helps us progress the ball so we don't have to do as much defending. But I think Dalot looked really good in pre-season though so far.
See, because Wan-Bissaka, you thought he was going to really come on good and, maybe his confidence has taken a knock. But he just seems to... not have a clue when he's got space and he's on the ball in the opposition's half.
No.
Come on, drive on. You've got the pace. Get in there.
Yeah, he does the odd thing where it's like you get a bit of encouragement where he just looks a bit awkward on the ball and then he does something where he like sort of takes on a player. But now he's just completely lost it. Like even in pre-season, I've seen some little clips of him like practicing his, like zipping it around from the back. I was like, oh, he looks pretty good. First game of pre-season, just crap. Like the same,
But it's pre-season. I mean, Ten Hag not lick him into shape and turn him into the because people were talking about him playing for England at right back a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, I do feel like he was unlucky though because England have got some very good right backs to be fair. But I feel like Dalot now though, I think he's going to stick with him. Like Dalot does look very good in pre-season. His assist to Martial as well in the last game was very good. And it's just in general like his little link-up play with Sancho looks very good. I'm actually happy that Sancho started playing on the right now because when we bought him, it was like, oh, finally we've got a right winger. Like the first time since Ronaldo really. We had Valencia and whatever, but he moved to right back. But yeah, it was just, but now he's linking up with Dalot. The right hand side almost looks better than the left. It's weird. Like it's changed.
Oh, that's happy days. Now, so you want Malacia in there. What about your centre half pairing? Because Kane is still going to, sorry, not Kane. Maguire is still going to be the captain, isn't it?
Yeah, he's come out and said that. Maguire was quite good in his last game.
We bought him and then finished 3rd and 2nd in the league. So he must have been doing something right.
Yeah, I feel like I think he's good like defending from a deep block or kind of reading when to put the challenge in. But I feel like he's just he turns like a 6-wheeler. But I feel like what Ten Hag was doing in the last pre-season game, I noticed it. I've seen some analysis on it where in defence when the ball was coming in, he was making them just go and sort of attack the ball as it was coming into feet. So there's not that risk of him getting spun in behind, because obviously Ten Hag likes playing high up as well. But the difference is where Ollie wanted to try and play high up and where Ralph Rangnick wanted to try and play high up. Sort of at the end of Ollie, beginning of Ralph Rangnick, he'd struggled a bit, and it's sort of that turning and trying to like chase the defender back. But if he's the first one to engage in the challenge, then he doesn't have to do that, and that's actually quite clever from Ten Hag. And obviously he wants Martinez in there, but I think Bailly looks quite good as well. But I do have sort of a bit of hope for Maguire still. Yeah. So what do you think?
Varane as well. I mean, obviously people expect him to be out injured. We've got Bailly. He'll be out injured. Don't worry about that. So, and then Tuanzebe's got off, has he?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with Tuanzebe. I think he was at Napoli, but I'm not sure. He's not playing any games in pre-season as far as I'm aware. I mean, he's been playing Alex Telles centre back, which is just like the complete opposite. But that Telles playing centre back though is why I feel like Martinez as well would just sort of jump straight in.
He seems to want a left footer.
Yeah.
In the left, that in that area.
It makes sense. So all them kind of progressive managers like Pep Guardiola, they like the kind of sort of left footers on the left of defences. I think it's for more the kind of balls down the line, because it's not natural for a right footer. They'd almost have to like cut across it. But with a left footer, it's very natural to sort of pass down the line. It's very easy for them, and it's just sort of gives a bit of better balance, because they almost like changed to a back three as well. So you need the kind of left footer on the left, and obviously Martinez has done that role before for Ajax, so he seems quite good. But what do you think about Varane? I still think the jury's still out on Varane a little bit.
Well, I mean, he's not been able to play consistently in a team that had any kind of real setup. It was a bit of a chaotic season last season, so it's hard to judge it. You know, you'd see him do the odd good thing, but then there were times when you wondered, was it his mistake or was it Maguire's? Was it his mistake or Saka's?
Yeah, I feel like with Varane,
it was almost like a sacred cow. Nobody dared to like criticise Varane.
Yeah,
it was like, you know, if Pogba was on the bench and sneezed and United lost the ball, it was like, Pogba, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know. I feel like Varane though is the thing is, he didn't string 3 games together last season. He played 2 games, injured for 1. Like I saw that stat, so he's not actually played 3 consecutive games for United. Like even in pre-season, I was wondering, I wonder why it's Maguire and Lindelof. It's because Varane picked up a knock.
And Lindelof again. I mean, he's a good player, isn't he?
Yeah, you do. People forget about Lindelof. I feel like it's because because Maguire was the 80 million centre back. I feel like people have forgot that Lindelof was actually probably sort of maybe on the same level as Maguire, or even better for some people. I do think Lindelof is a better passer of the ball than Maguire, and he reads the play well. I feel like sort of maybe in like the Spanish league, Lindelof would be like the ideal centre back, but I feel like he gets sort of put down a little bit because Maguire was 80 million, and that's the only reason, because he's next to him. So it's like, we need to find a partner for Maguire, but in reality, you probably could be finding a partner for Lindelof.
Lindelof, I mean, he can carry the ball as well. He's got some great passes.
Yeah.
He's got a great pass in it, a killer pass.
Yeah.
But it's one of those weird things, that Mourinho decision to buy him, because I think it was 31 million on it. And he bought Lindelof, and you're thinking, well, is he that different from Danny Blind anyway? Blind was probably a better passer.
Yeah.
He's got maybe a bit more physique than Blind, but he's not that much stronger than Blind, and he's not that much quicker than Blind. Yeah,
it's a shame that we don't still have Daley Blind for Ten Hag. Ten Hag was a massive fan of him, I think. Yeah. But I think Martinez is trying to mould sort of into that role now, because there was a game against Dortmund.
He's aggressive, isn't he, Martinez?
Yeah, what was it? He said like, I would run over corpses or something to get the ball or something like that. I've
seen clips of him, and also he seems to get the ball under control well and be able to hold different players off until someone comes available for a pass.
He's very good at progressing it, I think. There's one against Dortmund where I think he like had the most passes in that game when they won. I think it was 4-0 to Ajax. It was away from home as well, but he was man of the match in that game, and obviously he got player of the season for Ajax. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. But I feel like that's almost a Daley Blind model. You know, not very tall, like just very good passer, but he is aggressive as well. So he might fit the Premier League a bit better than Daley Blind.
And I mean, when United finished back in the olden days, the 1970s, when we finished third in the league and we looked really good, we beat Liverpool in the cup final. Both our centre halves, Brian Greenoff and Martin Buckham, are like 5'9".
Yeah, and it was a bit more physical back then as well. You could get away.
But Greenoff was basically a converted midfield player. You know, great, fantastic player. You know, England quality, played for England as well.
Yeah.
At centre back, 5'9" playing for England at centre back.
Yeah, we've got good heritage there then, because Martinez can play in midfield as well. He's sort of a converted midfielder.
Yeah, and then you always have to remember Pep playing Mascherano at centre half.
Yeah, I know.
How's he doing? He's 5'6".
Yeah,
How's he gonna win a header?
I still feel like it's a shame that we didn't actually sign Mascherano when we got Tevez. Yeah. I feel like he would have fit United quite well. Like, obviously we hate him now because he's a Scouser. You know what I mean? Dirty Scouser, but like, no, but like, I mean, he was a dirty player, and he was a Scouser.
Hey, now I should explain. James here played for Man City's academy, and he's talking about dirty Scousers. He also went to Everton, but didn't like travelling all the way to Knowsley. So you played in quite a few academies. So football-wise, he was a bit of a Scholesy type player. So he does know a little bit.
Be a bit more humble.
But he can't remember the golden days of United.
No, I've sort of just called the end of him. Really, I'm just glad I've seen a couple of titles. Like, otherwise I'd be climbing up the walls. That'd be horrible. Like my era now. Yeah, I think it was in year 6 when we last won the title. I think.
What's year 6 in real terms? Is that like?
12. Yeah, and 12.
Hey?
What do you mean? I would have been 12. Yeah, when I was 12. Yeah.
Oh, that's not too bad. And you're only 20.
I still remember it, at least. It's coming on a decade though. It's not great.
So look, United. We have to talk midfield.
Yeah.
McTominay,
Fred.
Who comes in instead of one of those, or are you happy with those two?
I'm definitely not happy with those two, but I've warmed to them a little bit more, just because I thought at the start it was like when we got in not Van der Beek, when we had like Pogba, Bruno, and then whoever, so McTominay or Fred,
Matic.
Really, yeah, Matic. Just kind of the season when we got Sancho overran, but I feel like I've warmed to them a bit more because Ralph Rangnick's liked them. Ten Hag started playing them in pre-season, and Ollie played them. There's a reason he played them, but I think now it is because we just lost Pogba. We've not got many midfield options, so I feel like when De Jong comes in, or if De Jong comes in, I feel like he'll come in for McTominay or Fred. But which one do you think out of them two?
Well, I mean, obviously, my issues with McTominay is he's not natural for that position. He always looks better carrying the ball in the opposition's half. And then you think, well, he was a number 10, he was a striker.
He's definitely not good enough to play number 10 for United.
But that's where he looks. He actually does look good for United doing that. You know what I mean? When he actually gets on the edge of the box and there's a goal in him and all the rest of it. I mean, he does try, but he gives away too many free kicks for me. So obviously his game is going to have to play. He's going to have to be coached maybe better to play in that position. Fred has looked good. I thought he looked good towards the end of last season as well. And I think Fred. There's been a few man of the match performances from him over the years. But again, and then you wonder about Van der Beek. Could Van der Beek play instead of McTominay?
Yeah, well, he came in for him, didn't he? In the second half, we looked good. I think we had double the amount of shots we had in the whole game in the next 15 minutes. I think when everyone was on.
So he's got a nice pass on him, Donny, and he doesn't give it away. Although sometimes he takes risks on the edge of his own box, and that's why, like he did against Young Boys last year, was it? Yeah, the Young Boys where he was messing about trying to be too fancy down and clear.
I feel like the problem is I think Donny and Bruno are just like one's one extreme of the other. So I feel like Donny is just a complete opposite, but you need someone who's like a bit more down the middle, which I do feel like Eriksen's a bit more down the middle. Because Bruno has these like balls in him, but a lot of them are just Hollywood balls that will go out for throw-ins and stuff and it's irritating, especially in a struggling side.
And especially when he's under pressure. So he gets close attention. That's why he's never turned up yet, has he, against a big team?
No,
and scoring a free kick against Liverpool.
Yeah, well, he scored a penalty against City as well. And
but do you know what
Spurs, when we got beat 6-1 as well. Yeah. I mean, he brought that up, I think, didn't he? When it was in Sky Sports interview, they were grilling him for not scoring in big games, and he said, I scored against Spurs in the 6-1 loss, and I was like, God, you're better off not saying anything.
Let's say.
Yeah,
maybe it's Portuguese humour.
Yeah, well, I hope so. But I feel like Donny, though, is frustrating in the other way. I feel like he's irritating because you're like, oh, you're slipping through and he just wants to recycle the ball. You're like, no, you know what I mean? And there's time to put him through, but I feel like off the ball as well, he doesn't offer very much. I feel like that will come though. Like, and then in the sort of 15 minutes where the whole team was on, he looked good off the ball, but he looked a bit of a passenger in the first 2 games. But I think when the teams change in the second half, so when like they bring on like Zidane, Charlie Savage, or them.
Iqbal.
Yeah, no, isn't it?
But he looked really good, didn't he?
Yeah,
Zidane it about, and he's a local lad.
Yeah, no, he does look good. I do like him. He's got a great first touch. He looks quite physical as well, to be fair.
Yeah, he's not scared, is he? And he can hold people off.
Yeah, I think Savage looked quite good as well. I feel like Savage has got a good pass on him. Obviously he gave a few away.
Unlike his dad.
Yeah, that was what I think Scholesy put that out, didn't he, on his Instagram? Yeah, Scholesy on his Instagram put out. He said, what was it? He said obviously he got his passing from his mum. Yeah, that's what he thought. But yes, I think like Zidane's just got a little bit more star quality about him though, and I feel like he will be. I think he'll go on loan. I don't feel like he should yet be sort of embedded in the first team. I don't think we've got a settled team yet because the midfield is a nightmare at the moment for us. We need
James Garner though. Obviously he's had a rest because of being in the playoffs with Forest and everything, but he looks quality.
I feel
Man of the match against Liverpool.
Yeah, I feel it's a shame with James Garner that he's not had a pre-season with us. Because obviously he's had an extended... I don't know what's happened to him. I think he's picked up a knock or something, or maybe he's just getting an extended rest. But he's barely played. He's not played in pre-season. I feel like if he had a good pre-season where he could kind of settle with the team, then it would be kind of easier for him to sort of start next season maybe. Because I feel like he's good enough to start for us. But I do think he'll go on loan again. But... yeah, what do you think about the number 10 role then? Like sort of playing in front of the two?
It's like, is Bruno creative enough? He doesn't recycle the ball enough, but he has been looking better in pre-season. But then he's not getting the close attention. But then again, you think, that's because they're having to keep an eye on Martial and they're having to keep an eye on, Rashford and Sancho. But I don't know how effective he's going to be. I do worry that his game's been sussed.
Yeah, I feel like he's got kind of the correct ability. He's got a good first touch sometimes. Well, he has got a good first touch. I feel like he just was sort of off form a bit. And then...
doesn't really carry the ball, so you can't taking a player on one-on-one.
Yeah, that's the difference between him and Pogba, I think. It's like carrying the ball, kind of the quality to kind of get yourself out of tight situations where you're kind of locked in. You've got to kind of sort of pick your way out dribbling. But I feel like the sort of first-time passes, the vision is very good from Bruno. But I feel like he needs to use it in the correct way. I think he will, though. I think Ten Hag will put him in more positions where he will be the kind of final ball rather than the one initiating the sort of attacks, which is what he needs to be, really. But
calm him down a bit.
Yeah.
And also, when we first got him, and he was really good. He actually came deeper, and he actually came deeper for the ball. And under Ollie, when we didn't really have anyone in front of him, only Pereira. Wasn't he playing with Pereira in a lot of games?
Yeah, I feel like, I feel like sort of when you've got another more creative player with Bruno, it takes the burden off him a little bit, because I think he likes that burden though, where he wants to be the sole person getting all the but it doesn't work for him. Like when we had Pogba and Bruno playing together, it looked very good for that time after lockdown. And that's what I found in the second half as well against it was at Palace when Donny came in. It was almost a 3 midfield, not like a McTominay and Fred playing behind him. When you sort of embed another midfielder in, he looks a lot better because it almost like you have 2 advanced midfielders, so he is playing a bit deeper, which kind of subconsciously will make him look after the ball a bit better. But I feel like when you play McTominay and Fred with Bruno, they almost like morph into like that 2-1 when you need it to be a 3. That's why I just feel like them 3 just can't play together. Like not because they don't work together, but it's just because they've kind of had that drilled in their head where it just makes Bruno sort of revert back to really bad habits, I feel.
What happens to Alanga this season? Because he did quite well last year. You could see him putting the effort in, but then there was a lot of pressure on him. And again, he's trying to play in a struggling side. Yeah,
well, he's put out his training videos. He works hard, to be fair. He sort of trains with a great intensity. It's like proper match intensity. So I feel like he's got the correct attitude. But he's not. I do think the jury is out on Alanga. I feel like even though he's young, it sounds very harsh.
It is harsh.
Yeah, it sounds very harsh.
But they're still saying that somebody's a young lad. How old is he? 29?
25. Wow. Yeah, he's older than Donny, which is quite shocking, really. But Alanga, though, I think he's in my year. Alanga, I think he's 20. Yeah. So yeah,
in my year.
Yeah, we
don't say that. Once you get past the age of like 30, you don't say that anymore.
Yeah, I know. I don't like saying people are young lads when they're like 3 years older than me or whatever. Still, do you know what I mean? Like, so I don't like calling myself a young lad, but yeah, he's younger. He's young enough, Alanga. He's got potential. I feel like he's just that proper like star quality, but I feel like he can get there. I feel like with the correct coach as well, I feel like now he's got a good coach.
Yeah.
He can be embedded into that, but I feel like Rashford is the one with the star quality.
Yeah,
so I feel like
absolutely,
we just have to persevere with Rashford and get his confidence back up, because that is what's going to win you games. I mean,
it's a very strange one, isn't it? I couldn't believe it when certain United fans were turning on Rashford last season, and you kind of thinking, well, look at what he's done. He played injured and still got us like 20 goals or whatever. Didn't he?
No penalties either. It doesn't sit right with me when people have a go at Rashford, because like
it's blasphemy. It's traitorous.
It really doesn't sit well with me though, because like he just has these you talked about Bruno scoring in the big games. Rashford's been scoring in every big game since he was 18. Like I think there was something where even like the season before last, he scored the most goals in the big games. I think he's like up there as well with like Jamie Vardy and Aguero, like for actually scoring in the big games.
Scoring last minute winners.
Yeah.
Better than Solskjaer.
Yeah, he's had the most in our history, hasn't he?
Yeah,
I mean,
which is amazing, and he's never played in a great United side, has he?
No, I feel like now though, this is why, as we were saying before with the Martial, Sancho, Rashford, I feel like that three is young enough, and that was the sort of three that just everyone knew would kind of work. But obviously you've got Ronaldo in there, but I just feel like that three is just something to kind of just go with now.
To attract racial abuse.
God.
Well, I mean, the thing is that England, and that's the thing with Rashford, you wonder how much that affected him when he missed a penalty for England.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it. I've had this argument, yeah.
And then all the sort of, the right-wing rats came out of the cage. Well, and I thought, what could be more English than missing a penalty?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we weren't losing it until Saka missed it. Anyway, I think it was going to go into sudden death. So, but no, I feel like with Rashford though, I've had this argument loads just on the penalty. I've had loads of arguments with my mates about this. They said because he didn't hit the target, right? His penalty was like the worst one, but genuinely, like he sent the goalkeeper he stuttered. The goalie went the wrong way. He hit the post. It was very unlucky. But Saka, even Sancho's, it's just a crap penalty. Like they're just hitting it almost like down the middle, where the keeper can almost catch it. But at least Rashford's, he's actually tried to score it. He's actually tried to score it. But yeah, that's irrelevant. What about the other side then? Jadon Sancho, he's looking brilliant.
Yeah. Well, again, we knew he's a good player. It's not unusual for it to take at least a season to embed a player. I remember Gary Pallister. When United first bought him from Middlesbrough, big money, like 1.6 million or 1.8 million. It was like Bambi on ice for the first 6 months. Yeah. And you have to remember, Evra wasn't great. Who else? Vidic wasn't great, for the first 6 months.
I think Evra was going to say, I think his debut on it, and he was terrible.
In terms of wingers, again, we bought wingers in the past where you don't see the very best of them. I mean, look at Ronaldo. It took him like a few years, although he was young when we bought him, but it took a few years to settle in.
I think it's the same kind of story.
Everyone forgets how young Sancho is.
I know, with Sancho as well, I mean, how good he was at Dortmund. Like, City have signed Haaland now. He wasn't anywhere near Sancho at Dortmund. Like, Sancho was untouchable, like, as their best player. But I feel like when you buy a player for 70 million and you sit him on the bench for the first 3 months, it's going to knock your confidence, especially as a young lad. And I feel like the ability when Ranić came in, we started getting a few games. To be fair, I think it was Carrick actually who first kind of put him in, and he scored 2. He scored against Chelsea, and I think it was Villarreal as well. But that's when he started looking good. He had a good couple of months and then dropped off again. But that was as the team dropped off. But he's always had that ability, and he has it. And I feel like it was a bit harsh last season, the criticism he was getting. This will be his season. It fits the kind of football perfectly.
I mean, with the pre-season, there is that whole thing, and again, it's a kind of tiresome argument to have, because obviously Ronaldo, 20 goals last season in a very struggling side. He's a great player. Who drops out of that front three for Ronaldo? And is it a sign that, if you think about how well United were playing and Ronaldo came in, I know that Solskjaer tries to play a bit of a different thing, a different system. But was Ronaldo the sign that upset the dressing room spirit and the team spirit?
The thing is with that, I don't disagree that it might have upset the dressing room a little bit. But you saw how excited all the players were to have him in. I feel like at the start, it really did give a bit of a boost. When we were like beating West Ham in the last minute, like we were beating Newcastle 4-1 like on his debut. But I feel it was as things started to go wrong, he has like just higher standards than any other player in the world. So I feel like there was almost a bit of a power struggle between maybe him and Maguire, or him and like the other parts of the other parts of the dressing room. This is just what I think might have happened. And maybe that upset the apple cart a little bit.
Well,
just because
Ten Hag can sort all that out for this season.
Yeah.
So there you go. Reds in the Hood. There'll be more episodes coming your way. We'll try and do 2 a week if we can. This has been James, 20 years of age. Could have been a contender, but now doing mathematics at university instead. Almost as smart as me, brain the size of a planet. Don't forget, if you're a true United fan, smash like and subscribe, and there'll be more coming your way on Reds in the Hood. See you next time.
See you.